Greetings. Thanks for stopping by. Health and happiness to you. I'm Skol, and here at Skol EDC, we're doing our Celebrating America series this week, featuring American-made knives every day leading up to the 4th of July, and there'll be a big grand finale video posted on the 4th of July. But today's feature is the Buck 110, and specifically it's their newest offering, the Buck 110 Heritage Slim Elite. So you'll get to see the latest upgrade. Here's my very first Buck 110 that I got when I was a teenager. So I had a knife that I carried when I was a teenager, and then I got a Buck 110. It might be the second knife I ever got, and it was a big upgrade from the other knife I had. But I didn't have much when I was a teenager, and when I got this, it was such a prized possession. I was thinking I'd like to keep it nice, so it actually became my first collector's piece. So this is my very first. I have a pretty big knife collection with hundreds of knives, hundreds of fixed blades, hundreds of pocket knives. I'm not sure I've hit 1,000 yet. I know people that are in the thousands and thousands, but the very first collector piece in my collection was this Buck 110. If you look on the Ricasso, it's got an X, so that's 1990. That's when I got that. And at Blade Show this year, my boy got his first Buck 110. He already had a Buck 119 and some other bucks. He had a Boy Scout buck. So he already had a few bucks, but he just got a Buck 110 at Blade Show 2026. But anyway, so then just to continue my story with the Buck 110, years later, I knew I had this one enjoying as part of my collection, but then I thought I'd actually like to carry one. So what's the solution to that? I can still keep this one that I've always kept as a collectible, but why don't I just buy a new one and have another one to carry? So I got this one, and it just so happened to be the 50th year of the Buck 110. So the Buck 110 came out in 1964, so 50 years later, that would have been 2014. So I know it was 2014 when I was carrying a Buck 110 in my pocket. So it's kind of funny, years later, now I'm finally carrying a Buck 110, and it doesn't really look all that scuffed up. I do see a few scratches on the bolster that I could buff out, but it actually looks pretty good. Not much worse than the other one. Then, Buck, over the years, they came out with the Slim series. So here, these are all Slim. Here's your Slim Select line with GFN, glass-filled nylon. Slimmer, lighter, but you keep the same classic Buck clip point shape. They added thumb studs and a pocket clip, but now it's lighter, thinner, but you still get the same usable blade. 420 HC, Buck has been famous for years using 420 HC, and with their Boss heat treatment, they get a lot out of that, and you never hear about Bucks having a problem with breaking tips because 420 HC is 9 out of 10 in toughness. So you've always had a tough, thick stock, 0.12 inches, and Buck kind of set the standard, becoming America's favorite pocket knife when it was launched in 1964. It had a 15 to 20 year reign as the top pocket knife in America. And if you think about it, we're celebrating the 250th anniversary of America, but what was the last big milestone 50 years ago? So it was the 200-year birthday of America, and that would have been 1976. And what was the top pocket knife in America in 1976? It was the Buck 110. So that was during that stretch when the Buck 110 was America's most favorite pocket knife. And 50 years later, now they've got the Heritage Slim Elite, came out the same year as America's birthday, so that's kind of neat to tie all that together. Well, here you've got the budget Slim, and then jump up to the Pro line. So now you get a new type of steel, and this one has S30V. So this is the Pro line with S30V steel, and then you get a material upgrade to G10. And out of all my Buck 110s, the one that's got the most pocket time, I think, has been this one. So I've enjoyed carrying this one a lot. And I remember when where I got that, I kind of remember that for all of these. So each one has a little story. And now we're up to the Heritage Slimline, still the Slimline, but now they've taken the Classic and they finally turned the Classic materials version into the Slimline. And you get another steel upgrade. So now we're up to Magnacut. Boss heat-treated Magnacut. And you still got your ebony wood, but now it's thinner, and your brass bolsters. And I'll show you the differences head to head. But I just wanted to show Slimline, Select Series, Pro, Elite. And I do have another Buck 110 to show off. When I was looking at the new Heritage Elites, I was looking at this guy. And I decided I'd give him a try too. So this is called the Hunter Pro. And it's a full thickness size, but it's got a pocket clip. And this has a steel upgrade too, I think. S35VN, so even another new steel. That's a high-end steel. And then this one's got these big, they seem like very big thumb studs. So you can do your one-handed operation. So I haven't given this one pocket time yet, but I have been given the new slim one pocket time. I actually took this to Blade Show. And I have the 112 Ranger Slim Elite on order as well. That one hasn't been fulfilled yet. So since May 4th, it's been on pre-order, and I'm not really upset about waiting so long because now it's been 2 months since I pre-ordered it, and the official date came out, or the official release came out of these Slim Heritage Elite in May, and my order wasn't filled. Blade Show passed, and now even this video has come up, and I still don't have it. But I'm kind of glad that these are popular. People are supporting Buck, and they've got so much demand that they still can't fill all the orders. So I'm not really mad about it. I'm just kind of glad that Buck's doing so well, and that the 110 is still so popular. So now let's just do a head-to-head. I'll use the original as the comparison. So you still have the same dimensions profile, so let's do that real quick. So here's the original from 1990, and here's the new one from 2026. 3 3/4 inch size blade, 3.5 inch cutting edge, overall length 8.5 inches, and your handle, full handle size 4.5 inches. And you have all the same, exactly the same. So you still got 3 3/4 inch blade, 8.5 overall. So all those length dimensions are the same. They haven't changed that. What they have changed, they also haven't changed the blade stock thickness. So I'll show that to you real quick. You still have 0.12. And actually I measured all those slims and all those ones I showed. They all are 0.12. Buck set the standard expectation for a stock thickness with the original Buck 110. So there I'm reading 0.12 exactly inches on the 1990 version. And this one reads close, 0.119. So you can round that up to 0.12. 0.119 inches stock thickness, and I used the caliper on the other, so you can take my word for it. They're all about, all the other ones are about 0.119 also, so pretty much right there at 0.12. Buck set the standard expectation for a pocket knife, and it worked so well with that 0.12 stock thickness. Even today, that's still the benchmark for your EDC pocket knives. I know people with slip joints, like case knives, they go with a thinner stock on smaller knives. But for your standard EDC size, it still endures. That 0.12 is a good stock thickness. So anyway, lengthwise, we're still the same. Stock thickness-wise, we're still the same. I'm glad for that, because slimming down, I don't want you to make the knife thinner to slim it down. I'd rather you keep the stock thickness. So they did it right, or the way I would prefer on this. Let's get a close-up, then we'll get an exact measurement. You can see how much thinner it got, and when you actually compare the numbers, it's about 40% thinner. And we'll also do the weights here in a second. But first, let's do a caliper and just prove it. How much thinner did we get? So here, for just measure here in the middle, I'm getting 0.628. And then here right in the middle, I'm getting 0.393. Stock thickness, that's approximately 40% thinner. And then let's also do the weight. I have my scale here. Now I do have a little issue because my scale tops out at 7 ounces. So this is 5.5 ounces, 5.5 ounces. But my scale only goes up to 7, and I already know this is 7.5. So it's heavier than my scale can take. And you'll see I'm going to get an error reading. So 0-1D, that means does not compute. You're over the scale limit. But I know it's listed at 7.5 ounces. So that's approximately 25% reduction in weight and 40% reduction in handle thickness. So that's makes it a lot more carryable, but you've also added a pocket clip, which some people would say makes it more carryable if you use pocket clips. I do not use pocket clips. So and there's been controversy. Some people said the Classic doesn't have a pocket clip and they don't want a pocket clip. So some people have that preference, and other people say they're glad there's a pocket clip. What's my opinion? I don't use pocket clips. I actually don't care one way or the other. Although I do have one thing to say. When I had stuck this, I carried this to blade, should I say, but I also stuck it in a leather sheath, and I was starting to get a little tarnish from the leather. So I polished it up a little bit before the video on this one, and with the pocket clip there, I didn't polish that, but I'd probably have to use a Q-tip. It would be a little bit harder to polish. So I don't know how much harder, but that's something I was thinking while I was doing a quick buff. So you still got your ebony wood, but it's thinner, and your brass bolster is considerably thinner, but you still have your same blade stock thickness. So anyway, that's a nice upgrade to make it thinner and lighter, and this has been going into my pocket. Even wore it to work today. Today's Friday. Tomorrow's July the 4th. So hopefully I'll have this video posted by July the 4th and the final. So I got that one I'm working on. And that'll be the end of my special Celebrating America series. So this is really nice. I'm glad they're in high demand. And I have a Ranger Slim Elite on the way as well. Here's another Ranger just so you can get size comparison. So you go from 3.75 down to a 3-inch blade. So a little bit more compact. And then I wonder if the Ranger might become, because it's already more compact lengthwise, and then when you also make it thinner and lighter, it might be a perfect carry. So I wonder if that new one when it finally gets here might become my preferred buck carry. Anyway, so it's still, I did want to do ergonomics. So you're thinner. The old handle is big and beefy, fills up your hand, but is the new one too thin? Nope, it feels good. You can feel it's thinner, but it's not like too thin. That's still got some nice thickness to it, normal. You can put pressure on there without causing any trouble. The pocket clip's not getting me, so I'm not getting a hot spot. And very usable blade, can do pretty much anything. This was originally meant to be a hunting knife, but foldable, so you could do all your hunting tasks if you're a hunter. And you got that little sweep for skinning. So some people do their full dressing on a deer with a Buck 110 folder. And you could do that with the Slim Elite. So we talked about ergonomics, we did the stats, we did the side-by-side comparisons. It's a nice, high-demand worthy upgrade. Still has the heritage look. Now it's got the thinner, lighter profile. Let's look at our last coin. We've already looked at these four, so here's the last one. This one I was saving for last because it's my favorite. I took this to Blade Show. I also took it to on our Blade Show road trip. We stopped at some Revolutionary War battlefields, Guilford Courthouse and Cowpens, and I had this in my pocket. So this one's neat because it's the Gadsden flag, which is, here's a patch. This is the Gadsden flag that has a timber rattler in the grass. Don't tread on me, that famous saying. So you take the Gadsden flag and superimpose it on top of an American flag. So that's an interesting effect. Although I think it would be better for Revolutionary War. What if that was a Betsy Ross flag with the Gadsden flag on top? That might even be better. And then here across the top, it says, "Give me freedom or give me death." So they changed the word, the original saying by Patrick Henry, "Give me liberty or give me death." I wish they would have just left it liberty, but it means the same thing. And then down here, "Don't tread on me." That was from the Gadsden flag with the timber rattler, but still, I like this coin with the Gadsden flag. And "Give me liberty or give me death." And on the back, we got a bald eagle on top of the Liberty Bell. So that's really neat. And I think I need some light, additional light, to read this on the bottom. For me, it's making it easier to read. "We dare not forget that we are the heirs of that first revolution." That's what it says across the bottom. Does that light help you? And there's the Liberty Bell with the famous crack in the bell. Still located in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And got some nice, really nice color detail on that red, white, and blue on the eagle. That's interesting. So there's the last coin showing front and back, all the details, celebrating America. And then we got our grand finale, big grand finale video coming up next. So here, thanks for stopping by. This is the Buck 110 Slim Heritage Elite, made in Post Falls, Idaho, made in the USA, featured today. I'm Skol. Here, I'm gonna try this. I don't recommend this, but you can one-hand it. I'll do that to end. So we'll go. Thanks for stopping by. Remember, always carry a knife. Almost got it. Buck 110 Slim Heritage Elite. Have a nice day.